everybody. I did a video somewhat recently with my kids about the first, I think it was like 3 episodes of the Superman show, the cartoon from 1941, and it really piqued my interest. So I went and I kind of looked through the rest of them. Apparently, there's only 17 episodes. There was, I think it's like 3 or 4 from 1941. Then there was a few in 1942, and the rest were in 1943. So it was actually a 3 year span to do these 17 or so episodes. Another thing that was pretty interesting about this older Superman cartoon, is that this was not there was 3 different video options that I saw on online when I was looking for the cartoon episodes. I found one which was the main one that me and the boys watched. Then there was a second one that was almost like a remastered kind of, with like a little bit of a better art style to it, but still both of them were missing certain episodes, I guess. So I then found one that was almost like a movie format, where it was just all together, hour and 48 minutes, I believe, and it seemed like it had all 17 episodes. So between all three, I did go and kind of check out, the episodes that I was missing that I hadn't seen yet. And let me tell you, it was very interesting. It was very cool to watch. Me personally, I liked the hour and 48-minute one because it seemed like it was, A, it had all the episodes, and B, it was like the cleanest version, I guess. The one that I had shown prior from the that other collection, I had mentioned that like some of the wording was blurry and stuff like that. It seemed like they fixed a lot of that in the other 2 versions. So I don't know if they came out like, many years later or whatnot, but they're definitely more clean and more sharp in the other 2 versions. So if you guys are interested, I would definitely recommend one of the other two. One's like, I think it's like Superman, The Lost Episodes, I believe it was, which had like 3 or 4 that I had not seen. And then the other one's called I think it's like the Complete Collection. I'll see if I can put pictures up so that you guys can see what I'm actually talking about. But anyway, all in all, this series was very interesting, very neat to see. Old school, because like I said, this is back in the 40s, so this was, if I'm not mistaken, mostly hand drawn type of artwork. So really cool. Another thing is, you can tell this was from the 40s during the World War II era, because there's actually 2 of the lost episodes that are very highly influenced based on fighting like Japan, like Superman fighting the Japanese and stuff like that. I don't think they actually straight out say the Japanese, but you can see it's very, very like a lot of nods to it, if you will. And there are some, big signs of actually, I think one of the episodes is legitly a battle scene, more or less, like Superman's over there and he's fighting. So, it was interesting to see the stuff like that on this. Another thing that was really interesting to see was just Superman's powers in general. In this cartoon, we saw X-ray vision once, but we saw no heat vision, no like that cooling breath thing that he has. Didn't see any of that. Even his strength, it seemed like they almost like dimmed it down to make him not so much of a tank at times. Like you see him kind of like struggling, I say the word struggling. I mean, he still rips like a door off of an elevator or something, but you can see him kind of like, he does kind of give it a good like 2 or 3 tugs before he actually rips it off, as opposed to like in the movie, you would see him rip it off with like one arm or something like that. So it was really interesting to see. I then went down a rabbit hole and kind of went online and started looking up some of the Superman history, because I'm not a huge Superman buff. I don't know a ton about it. So I kind of looked up, like, for example, when was his heat vision even first introduced? And apparently online, it had said that it didn't pop up into the comics until like the 1960s. So that would make sense why his heat vision wasn't in the cartoon from the 1940s, because it wasn't even technically invented yet, or given to him yet. The other thing is the X-ray apparently was there from pretty much the beginning. The cool breath, from what I could find, said it was there from the beginning, but they never utilized it in this cartoon, which was kind of interesting. Once again, the cartoon episodes are only about like 10 minutes long. They're really quick. So a lot of the story stuff is a lot of it just kind of like thrown in there, and you kind of, there's times where the episode just starts off and he's right in the middle of like an action, something's going on or whatever, so you kind of have to like piece together things. Another thing that I found really interesting with this series too was there was no mention of like Lex Luthor or any of the other like main villains from Superman. So I'm not sure if this came out before any of them really made their big debut, or if it was like some other reason to not do it. Maybe they didn't think the villains were appealing enough or not. I'm not 100% sure, and I don't want to mislead you guys. But in this series, you see him fight a lot of like mad scientists. I think it's like 3 or 4 episodes of mad scientists. He fights a giant gorilla, so that right there kind of reminded me of like a nod to King Kong. He fights a giant dinosaur that had been frozen then thawed out, so that right there kind of gave me a Godzilla type of nod. He fights like a tribe, I think it was. There's like a mummy, like or mummy guards that were like somehow like supernatural. So a lot of like kind of basic enemies, which was another thing that was really interesting about this series. And it just, because the Superman we know today, a lot of it is, there's some nods from the Superman from this time, but a lot of it is different. And for better or for worse, it's your opinion, that it's however way you want to take it. Same thing with Lois Lane. She's also very different. In this, she's the very classic damsel in distress for every episode. I mean, there's even times where it seems like they just purposely like just threw her into distress for really no reason. Like, she didn't have to go into like that room or that area, and she kind of did just to be like, kind of like the nosy reporter. And then of course she gets in trouble, and Clark, or Superman, I'm sorry, has to go save her. So there's this, all in all, I'm trying not to make this a super long video, but like I said, when I had seen the first 3 episodes, it brought back memories from when I had seen it, and it kind of explains why I had seen it as a kid, because apparently the other 2 versions came out later, like they were remastered, if you will, and I believe they came out in the 80s or 90s. I'm not 100% sure, but it would explain why I had seen some of these, because I was not around in 1941, but yet some of this seemed familiar, and that is why they remastered them, so now it makes sense. So I was interested because of that, and then second of all, like I said, it was cool to see how this character was portrayed back in that time, and how they kind of targeted this, because it's a cartoon, towards children. Now, that being said, that's the other thing I wanted to touch on. This has some moments of like destruction, and there was an episode I watched, a cop got shot in the arm. The cops in this old cartoon have like Tommy guns and stuff. So it's like, it's weird because it is targeted towards kids, but there was definitely more, like in some areas, more violence than you would expect. Like, I did not expect to see cops with Tommy guns. I did not expect to see certain episodes where the entire city's being destroyed. Like, you got like asteroids destroying cities and bridges. People are dying if that was real, and they kind of just like, oh no, it's a cartoon, and just kind of like Superman saves the day. It's like, yeah, he did, but a lot of the city got destroyed, and we just kind of like gently pass over that, which I thought that was kind of funny. And then, like I said, a cop getting shot in the arm. It actually showed him hold his arm, and there was a little bit of like, I believe I saw a little bit of blood. Maybe that's my imagination, but I was like, dude, this is actually more graphic than I would have thought for the 1940s. So I just wanted to say that, because I saw those first 3 episodes, and we did that short little video on it, and I thought it was really interesting, and I wanted to see the rest and see, what else it had in store. And I'm glad I did. I'm super glad I did, because like I said, we missed there was episodes missing. I got to see the, better quality graphically. It seemed like they touched it up, remastered, whatever word you want to use. And it was cool to see, Superman punch a gorilla in the face. That was pretty cool. It was cool to see him fight a giant dinosaur. It was entertaining. And another thing too is the intro even changed, because like the intro that I always remembered was the faster than a speeding bullet, what is it, more powerful than a locomotive. They have that one for the first, I think it's like 5 or 6 episodes, and then they end up changing it to it's like faster than a strike of lightning, powerful than a hurricane wind, no, more powerful than like a wave, crashing waves. And then like, I don't know, I can't fully remember, but they changed it, and I don't even remember the second version. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, man. So Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to share my, I guess this is my overall thoughts on the whole series as a whole, because it was only, like I said, 17 to 20 episodes. It was from 1941, 42, and 43. And it was just cool to see how, like, the character has changed. I wanted to see if they did introduce any of the villains in it. They did not. That I know personally, they did not. And it was really really cool. It's obviously as you're watching some of this, there's certain things that kind of look, because even my kids, when they were watching it, they were like, why didn't Superman just do this or Superman just do that? It's like, well, it's for the plot, you know what I mean? That's pretty much how you narrow that down, because, like, there was a couple of times where it's like Superman did things in this cartoon that you look at and you're like, well, he wouldn't have. I mean, he, with all this power, he could have just done this or done that. But all in all, guys, I just wanted to do another quick video on this because I enjoyed this. This was really cool. I actually want to go and check out some other characters as well. But anyway, guys, that's it for me. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.